guys, this is Charlie from Charlie's Awesome World of Adventures, and welcome back to the final installment of Alien Week. Well, we've looked at all the other main Alien films, not counting the Alien vs Predator films, so let's end it off with the most recent entry franchise which came out last year, Alien Romulus. Now looking at all the other Alien films, I don't think we've had a good one since the second. I mean, Covenant and Prometheus were decent, but they were nowhere near the levels of the first two. So, I do understand why many people wouldn't have huge hopes for this, but here's what I'm pretty interested to talk about this one. This actually is my first time watching it. Yeah. Before I watched all the other ones, I actually watched this last year to check it out. And with no knowledge of the other Alien films, I thought it was pretty good then. I'm watching it again, and now I can say this film is really good. Like, I think I'll give it slightly more credit than I would have if I reviewed it last year. Like, I'll admit, the reason why I didn't do a review of it last year is that I didn't have too much to talk about. But after watching it again this year, I definitely do have quite a bit I want to discuss about this one. And I really like the story. It's basically the first two films that get mixed together, but I do quite like it. Okay, well, the storyline can seem a bit predictable at times. It does do some sad twists, is that I do find to be quite engaging. The visuals in this film are spectacular, for the most part. Most of this film was practically made with only little bits of CGI used. And I will say, they do a good job of making it all look real, because, well, most of it was really made. The same can also be said for the uses of CGI, which are quite decent. And the horror is amazing in this. This is probably easily one of the scariest films I've ever seen, and I say that as a compliment. And goosebumps were going all over my body during most of the experience. And I was all in for it. But while we're on the subject of visuals, was I think we need to talk about the film's biggest controversy, and that at the return and cameo for this film, Ash, the android from the first film. And the actor did pass away a long time before this one was even thought of. And they got a main voice actor to do him while using AI to enhance his voice. And I think the main prop was as like kind of AI. I'm not entirely sure. And this received quite a lot of backlash, and I've got to agree. I have nothing wrong with characters returning. And I do like how they try to make Ash like the villain of the feature. Each two focus on the mission and doesn't care about what happens to the crew. But the use of AI did make his moments feel a bit uncanny. And they could have easily replaced this with a different character. Speaking of the characters, this is probably one of my favourite crews in it. I've said this before, but I've never been a huge fan of the crews in the sequels. The crew in the first one are really good, and they're easily the best crew. This crew, while not as good as the one from the first film, are really good. I especially like the main leads, Rain and Andy. Rain is a solid protagonist, where even though she's a bit like Ripley, I did really get invested with her as a character. I did really like her goal to finally leave her planet. But one thing I really liked about her was the relationship between her and Andy. basically Andy is the main android of the film, and I like it, and I really like the bond on between the two of them because as it really made both Bane and Andy the great character. So was the thing that got me the most invested. I also really like Andy's personality. At the beginning of the film, he's more like a timid android, where you can kind of tell that he's kind of more functioning and like the most intelligent of them all. Later on in the film, he does get a little outgrade, and while that does make him smarter, it also makes him colder, which I really like because as it adds a bit of mystery to Andy's character, where you're never quite sure if you can trust him or not. You're not entirely sure if he's a good guy or a bad guy, or if he's trying to help the heroes or the villains. And this makes for an interesting character that I was fully invested on for the film. I also really like most of the other crew. They had little personalities, but the personalities did show up. I was quite invested. However, there was one that I really didn't like at all, and that is the Jean. And he's one of the cousins to one of the main crew members, and he is insufferable. Or most of his scene, he's an absolute jerk. Especially to Andy. I get that the film does try to give a reason why he acts like this to Andy. But it didn't do enough to say in his character. Even when Andy kind of saved him, you think he would treat him better, but no, he still treats him like rubbish, like he has for the majority of the film. Other than that, all the other characters are pretty good. I've already said that the horror is really intense, and that has to do with the xenomorphs and aliens themselves. The visuals already do a great job of up in the horror, but it's the way aliens attack that really do get me invested and frightened. And another reason why the horror works as well as it does is how it uses a slow pacing. Like the first film, this film is slow paced, and I did feel like it was a little slow paced at times. Like the first film, I think the slow pace was better, because it upped the horror and upped the stakes. It's getting me a bit more invested and a bit more freaked out when I'm watching the entire film. Also, so I know many people have mixed feelings on the climax. I admit it did feel a bit unnecessary, but it honestly offers one of the coolest alien creature designs I've ever seen. It's like a mix of a human and a xenomorph mixed together. And it is disturbing to watch, but also really creative of how they built it together. But maybe that climax was a bit unnecessary, and the film would probably be the same if they cut it out. But that didn't change the fact that I was still really invested. So overall, yeah, we've had a lot of different horror films this decade, and I can easily say that Alien Romulus is one of the best ones. It's not perfect by any means. Actually with a really weak cameo. But it does have a great story that stays true to the previous two films. Amazing visuals with incredible horror, likable characters for the most part, and on top of a great 8 score and fantastic acting. Alien fans are definitely gonna love this one, and if you haven't seen this one yet, please do so. It is great. And that's why I'm going to give the film an 8.5 out of 10. But now that I've done on my reviews on all the Alien films, how will I rank them? Simple. Put number 7, Resurrections. Number 6, Alien 3. Number 5, Covenant. Number 4, Prometheus. That's number 3, Aliens. Number 2, Romulus. And number 1, the original Alien. And that's how I would rank all of them. Feel free to let me know your ranking of these films. I had a great time. I'm doing this. It's because not only did it offer a lot of content for the channel, but it got me invested into a franchise I wanted to be invested for. Well, after seeing this film for the first time last year, it has always been a franchise I've wanted to watch. I've wanted to watch all the Alien films, and now that I finally had the chance, as well as being able to make videos of them all, I am so glad I did, because despite this film having a few more misses and hits, yes, I did overall have a good time watching this franchise. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing these horror weeks throughout the month. Depending on my schedule, but I will try to get a lot more reviews of 2025 films I want to get done. I'm showing to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!